to share and talk about what's going on, and for Mary to give us her perspective on things and how things are going, and for us to get this access to her is a very nice treat for us.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, thank you for going ahead and scheduling this. We have a small group, which I think is good. We'll cover some things and answer any questions you might have, and we'll just kind of wing it. So first off, how's everybody doing with the pandemic and surviving the changes we had to make back in March? And we're here in Westerville, we were doing the virtual Zoom meetings, but we're back in person meetings, of course, with limitations and restrictions, and it seems to be going pretty well. One of our senior staff members, though, came down with COVID a couple of weeks ago, so we had to go back to virtual meetings for a couple of the meetings, but now we're going to be back doing what we were with the in-person and all the restrictions and limiting the numbers in our council chambers and things like that. So I don't know if anyone else wants to share what's going on in your community at this time.
Well, Groveport, we pretty much went back to the in-person. We haven't had a whole bunch of hot topics that we've had a lot of public attend. We do not do any live streaming or anything. So if they wanted to participate, they have to come in person. We do have 2 council members Zooming in now. One, they're both some of our older council members that for each individual reason, we had a slight scare, I guess you can say. We had somebody test positive in the building. They sent us all home, and they did that. But since they're pretty high risk, they decided, it's just, and it's been pretty simple to Zoom. I mean, it's actually become pretty. Once they figured out how to get all the bugs with the noises out, I'm happy, because listening to minutes with a bunch of noise is really, really hard. So.
Yeah. What I like with Zoom is you can get the transcript, the audio transcript. So that really helps doing the meetings, the minutes, versus, having to sit there and re-listen to all the chatter.
I need to know, because I've never seen that. They've never given me anything. So is there something that you have to tell it to do the transcript?
No, I think it does it automatically, but I don't know if it depends if you have I know there's different levels of Zoom.
I think it's a setting in Zoom
could be.
that can do that. Has that impacted anybody's work, that helped them do the work differently? Improved access to it?
I hope so. I'm going to look into it.
I would, yeah. It really helped out. You can eliminate listening to all that noise.
Yes.
That goes on during the meetings, but yeah.
And having video recording of it I'm sure that makes a difference too.
Well, we stream ours also live, and then we have a recording afterwards. So
can I ask, do you have any, I'm asking Mary, I'm asking you, do you have anybody from the public that comes in and can ask a question or anything, or interact during a meeting through the Zoom?
We really haven't. We've advertised, if anyone wants to make any comments, citizens comments, that they need to email me before noon of the meeting date. But we also do allow people to come in and make comments, but we kind of shuffle them in and out type of thing. They come in, make their comment, they have to wear a mask,
right?
Make their comment, and then they have to, because of the numbers.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is we've got a hot property topic that's coming on. I had its first reading last night, and it referred to planning and zoning, where planning and zoning is Monday, November the 2nd. And I told the mayor that I already had a phone call on it, that somebody wanted to know, they wanted to come last night. And I had told them, I said, well, I can tell you, it's just going to be read by title. Nothing, there's going to be no discussion. There's going to be no, open discussion about it at all. That'll happen at the next meeting, which is, it'll be at the Planning and Zoning Commission. So if you really want to have input and tell them your concerns, you want to go to that meeting. Well, they want to know, they were asking how they can get the public to interact with that meeting, but a lot of times your questions won't come up until you're actually listening to the meeting, and then you say, hey, let's because I thought about, I've been doing the fall sessions with Karen and Ashley and everybody, and I noticed that they control that our mics are muted when you come into the meeting. Somehow that must be a setting, Karen.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
so
Mhm.
once we come back in, we're automatically muted, and we have to personally mute ourselves or unmute ourselves to talk. So I guess I was just wondering if there was some kind of give and take. I wouldn't expect us to have, I mean, we were doing these sessions with 100 people, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, they've been wonderful. I mean, and I can't imagine 100 people showing up for anything here,
Mm.
but
Mm.
it could be
Well,
20.
right.
It could 20
Right.
people could be in there. I mean, someone could be from the same household but have serious concerns. Well, my thing about emailing would be that they might have questions that they don't know they have until something comes up about that
Right.
particular
Right.
development plan or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. That, I think, doing the public hearings, we haven't, as far as council hasn't had any public hearings yet. But I know planning commission, of course, they do, and they, did the waiting room, put them in a waiting room type of thing, and then let them in during that, and they could make their comments or their testimony or whatever. So, but I haven't had to deal with that yet, knock on wood, but.
So you have the ability to let them in and out of the
In
actual
Zoom?
meeting, in Zoom.
Mhm.
All right.
Yes.
So see, I am not the one who sets up the meetings. Our administrator does that. And, I don't host it. The only thing is I'm in it because my system, my computer and sound system is the audio. And everybody else is muted. No one's allowed to have anything else on, but all their speakers and mics have to be muted. Well, not the participants who are on
Mhm.
virtually there, but so I guess that would be, I don't control any of that. You almost have to have somebody separate doing that. And like Karen, that's probably a lot of stuff you do, maybe.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because Ashley's sort of running things, and then you're doing that technical stuff. I guess I call that technical, but because we would have to have somebody separate doing that, because I could not read my emails or read someone's comments and try to be paying attention to where I'm supposed to be on an agenda and something. I'd be all over the place. So, I'm only
No.
getting older. I'm not getting any younger. So, but okay, that gives me some food for. I need somebody to kind of play around and find out what Zoom can actually do.
Yeah, set up some test meetings and just play with it. And,
Mhm.
yeah.
One other thing, I don't want to be a hog here. I'll hush up here in a minute. But another thing is, our Ohio Association put out we have that tool in we can go out and send an email to everybody in our region, or really anywhere, I think. But somebody talked about being Zoom bombed. Have any of you heard that? Has any of your meetings ever been bombed and had something you had? Because
Mhm.
she made it sound like it was a nightmare. There was something awful that came in on their Zoom. Like,
Ours was an absolute nightmare. We had a consultant running the meeting and not an IT person who was savvy with that kind of thing, who can only invite you in when you're ready to comment. And these kids took over. They were Zoom bombing. They were saying nasty comments. They were writing nasty diagrams up. It was bad. It
So
was
did
a
your,
parks meeting. Pardon me?
did your IT get involved and tell you how to kind of,
No,
control that?
no, because they were in a different building and by the time they were having the meeting, it was too late. But yeah, we will
Yeah.
never, yeah, so that was a real nightmare and very embarrassing to say the least.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, we have not, IIMC has not had that problem except for one time. And Ruth Ann, I don't know if you were in that virtual institute where a gentleman, I don't think he didn't do it purposely, but he stumbled in and was quite flustered that he was in the wrong meeting. And so we had to, there were a few expletives. And then we had to gently help him out of the meeting so we could continue with the virtual institute. It did sound like it was an accident and one that he was embarrassed and frustrated about, though.
Mhm.
But I can't even imagine a planned Zoom bomb like the one that those kids orchestrated. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it was awful.
It
It was
does.
awful. And it was, like I said, thankfully it was a park meeting to discuss a park master plan and not a council meeting or a planning commission meeting. Because for those, we do have IT people helping out and they will invite you in if you've already signed up to speak. Otherwise, you can see the meeting, but you can't participate unless you're
Mhm.
already signed up.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, as we move forward, it seems like this is how it's going to be for a while. I mean, in March, we were thinking, oh, we're going to plan ahead a few weeks at a time. And now we're planning months and months ahead of time. And
Mhm.
so what we were band-aiding before, it seems like we have to think of a whole new system approach to how to change things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
can't have
that's
the
going to be
open-
tough.
We can't have the public in our meetings until the governor changes things, and he has not yet, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Well, I know it's not gonna happen this year.
Mhm. I
Well,
think
they're
we can have, I think we can have up to 25 in a room. And
You mean in your Zoom room?
no, in person.
Oh, in person.
Yeah, yeah,
I've never really counted, but
yeah.
we do have our chairs all separated. They have to have a mask.
Yep.
I mean,
Same here.
we do that. If they're going to expect large crowds for anything, they would have a police officer downstairs and taking temperatures and handing out masks as they come in.
Yeah.
Do have masks available all the time, but there's not
Yeah.
anybody down there taking temperatures. We sort of leave that, but we have very few people that come on a regular basis anymore. They're all pretty much staying home. I guess I could see Groveport. The funny thing is, the mayor would like to see this having the public in the Zoom back and forth or whatever by next Monday. That's what the reading is. I have no idea that that's going to happen, but I just wondered. But I told my assistant administrator that it would worry me to think that we were live streaming and somebody could be bombing into our.
Right, that's why if you have IT people who know how to handle that stuff, it won't happen. It has never happened with our council meetings or our planning commission meetings.
But we don't have people on staff. We don't have IT people. I mean, it's a company we, contract out to. So I wouldn't have a clue. I thought you had to let people in. But I guess if they can hack everything else in our life, I guess they can hack a meeting to be out there. But I mean, some of that stuff is kind of scary. That could really disrupt stuff, and it could offend people that were watching it. But we had no control over it. But they'd blame it on us anyway. But I mean, you'd want to protect people from some crazy people getting on there.
Yeah.
I wonder if that might be a good education topic to cover the security of these meetings. I know that Cassie did run a few. Cassie Van Mortel did run a few security sessions. I think they overlapped with our virtual institutes, but I'll have to talk to her and let her know that this is a topic of interest, and I wonder if she might rerun them again.
Yeah, that would be That would be great. Especially if it's somebody with IMC that's already done it. But I mean, I know when you get the other institutions involved, you can't tape them and re-show them. But I have to tell you, I just love these session things. I didn't do any of the spring because we were just all, I mean, I was at home. I mean, half the time I was at home. I just didn't pay attention enough to it, but I just was loving the ones here in the fall. And I haven't missed one yet. So had a little mess up with PayPal and Zoom got mixed up, and I'm looking on it and I got 3 receipts. I'm like, so Janet helped me and she got that taken care of. And they put the 2 of those $50 receipts back into my account. I'm like, holy cow. But that was some crazy thing with Zoom and PayPal. But I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying these. I mean,
Good.
they're fun. And doing the breakout and get the opportunity to talk. And I would love to see something like this, you know, go on even after we're, is there ever going to be a normal? But I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, is anyone else on who are pursuing either the CMC or the MMC? No. Okay, we just wanted to check in and see, because we're always looking for input on the kind of education that that would be helpful, and whether or not you are pursuing a credential. We want to offer sessions that are just helpful in general too.
Right, right. We'll switch gears here a little bit, and someone had wanted to talk about voting. And here in Ohio, Ruth Ann and I, we have nothing to do with the elections. So we really can't offer much as far as what's happening here in Ohio. But what about California, Oregon, Washington? What's happening out in your areas?
Well, actually, my comment about voting was more towards IIMC voting and how,
Oh,
actually, I'm pretty, I hate to use the word appalled, but I am appalled by the lack of turnout that the IIMC has when it comes to voting for board members. It's just, we're, for goodness sakes, we should be out there voting and promoting the voting, but the turnout is pretty abysmal.
right. I agree. And that's been an issue and a struggle for quite a few years. And I can relate, you know, a lot of them, I think their emails might go to a spam and they don't see them, or they, you know, we're bombarded with emails every day and you just lose track of it. I know when I ran for president, that last day of voting, I had so many emails from clerks saying, I never saw it. Can I still vote? Can I still vote? Can I still vote? So I'm constantly was forwarding emails to Janice out at headquarters so she could resend the ballot to them. So it's a big struggle to try to reach everyone, and I don't know what the answer is, but I agree. You know, we should be as paying members, we should be voting and deciding on our board members, et cetera.
So far as the elections are going, the national and the local elections, Washington State, everything is by mail, and it has been, I think, since 2011. So that makes it nice.
Mm-hmm. What about Oregon? Angie, Lisa, do you have anything to do with the elections?
I'm the election officer for the city, as most city recorders are in Oregon, and we're mail-in ballot only.
That's right.
And it's so nice and so streamlined to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lisa
Our
agrees.
county deals with it. I don't have to deal with much. I do have a question though, as far as IIMC voting. I admit I'm not often on the IIMC website, but when voting comes along, is there a page dedicated to the voting and some background on the candidates? Maybe
Usually.
IIMC has some can get some platform kind of like similar to Everbridge or Nixle and provide texting notifications to members.
I'll write that down. That's something.
We
that-
should.
Yeah, we get your email that says, here's the ballot or it's coming up, and then you can click on the different candidates, that says, gives them their background, but very few people in my city can send or receive text, only if you're out in the field.
And I know periodically I do get the emails, but maybe filtering it through all the different regions and stuff, so that way we just make sure that it's bombarded in every avenue
From every-
possible.
Yeah. I know the bigger goal at IIMC headquarters is we're trying so hard to integrate everything and make the website more of a hub so that you can do things like read about the candidates and vote online. Everything should redirect there. And at one point, you'll all have profiles where you can go in and adjust your profiles and your preferences to what you want to receive and what you can do. Make your own changes if you change any of your personal information, addresses, email addresses, and things like that, and just kind of tailor to what it is that you want to see. That is coming down the road. It's a bigger project, but hopefully, I'm very excited about that prospect, because it would be good to be able to go to one place, streamline everything, know that if you're voting or if you have some specific mission, that know that you'll be able to do that on the website.
Anthony, was it California last year or a couple of years ago with the voting thing? I read somewhere an article where one place in California did this whole Google Forms thing and they streamlined their process, and it was just curious, and I can't remember if it was Anthony's city or not.
Not my city.
Okay.
For CCAC, we use SurveyMonkey to do our ballots for our association elections. We just did a membership survey, and one of the pieces of feedback that we got was that our association elections look a little boring, and we actually follow the California Elections Code as far as deadlines and the rules for ballot statements and things like that. And so we use a really formal process, even though we're using SurveyMonkey to do the ballots. So this year, we're actually going to be doing 3-minute interviews with each of the board positions. And recording that, putting it onto YouTube. And that way, when we send out the ballots or actually the nomination packet, people can learn more about the positions, see why it's fun to serve on the board, see what people enjoy about it. And hopefully that interaction will get people to actually want to participate in the election, even if it is just voting.
Anthony, where are you from, or who are you with?
Yeah, City Clerks Association of California, and I'm in Palm Springs.
Oh, okay.
Mary, I want to steal that idea. Could we do that too? Do 3-minute videos?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I would like to see IIMC teach more about social media.
Okay.
It's with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, because different cities have different platforms and not every platform meets the need of the organization. So it definitely has to, but I mean, in some instances, I prefer Twitter over Facebook by all means.
Really?
And so I'm usually on there, if anything, but not everybody understands Twitter. So, but I would like to see more technological education seminars in some way.
That is excellent and very, very valuable feedback. I'm the communications coordinator or the communications department at IIMC. And I started at IIMC on March 9th, I think. So I've been there a very short period of time. And in the office, an even shorter period of time. I was in the office 8 days before we shut down the office. So I've been doing all of my work remotely. And I've been trying to think of the best way to make social media useful and accessible to everyone, because my whole philosophy about it is you don't just create all of these apps and all of these systems of communication and force it on people. You have to meet people where they are, and also you need to make the social media fit them rather than force them onto a platform. And so based on some of the limited study that's been done, it seemed like IIMC members were all on Facebook and not so much on Twitter, but as everyone is kind of shifting, because we're shifting all the time in what we prefer. And to hear that you communicate through Twitter is very valuable, because right now the only thing we do on Twitter is push out announcements. And IIMC doesn't even have its own not really its own Twitter. So I would like to do that, and definitely to hear that is a way that people communicate. That's really important for me to know, so that I can try to
Well,
do
and
something about it.
when I first got on Twitter and looking for IIMC, I never would have thought to look up Chris Shelby as the IIMC account. You know, and I had to go to IIMC's website to find it, and so it wasn't very accessible.
Yeah.
And also too with IIMC, and not to make any assumptions or mean this offensively, but the organization, the demographic of the organization based on the platform that they're using. And Twitter and Instagram lean more towards other generations other than just Facebook. And so we need to reach out more to different generations.
Yeah.
A lot of the social media is under attack now too. You know, lots of controversy about just generally about social media.
And if I understand correctly, some clerks don't have access to social media through their office,
I don't.
or that they are blocked somehow. I was advised that I need to take that into consideration.
I'm not blocked. I can see it, but I choose not to participate. We have a public information officer, and he handles the tweets and the Instagrams and the Facebook. And once in a while I'll check into it, but
see, and I think it's still valuable, because there are some cities, like say for instance, like mine, we only have 3,000 people. So I'm kind of provide the public information for the city hall, and I manage all the IT stuff. So I'm the one who's been working on Zoom and trying to figure out all the quirks and stuff. And so not everybody has the luxury of having an IT department or having a PIO or anything like that. And so being able to manage all
I'm glad not to be involved in it. I'm glad we have it, because a lot of people do use it. And we have almost 100,000 people in our city. So it comes in handy. I just personally glad I don't have to mess with it.
Yeah. Lisa, if you don't mind terribly, I'd love to reach out to you later and find out a little bit more about what you think would be helpful, because I would love to set up some type of more social media. I don't know if training is the word, because that implies that I'm an expert, but some type of more social media engagement.
You can definitely have like
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to see us do like hands-on kind of things, where you, like, if you go to like the training sessions, the annual academies or something, and you have a room, like a lab basically, and you have your laptop, and somebody who's not familiar enough with Adobe Acrobat doesn't know that you can just rearrange pages really quick, or this is how you can shortcut to add a bookmark or something, or Outlooks. There's so many functions on Outlook that I just mess with it until I do something where I'm screaming and like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But
we've
that's
all
just
been
me.
there.
There's a delete button and an undo button. And I'm just, okay, I'm going to risk it. So, but yeah, definitely.
Okay, wonderful. I'm making a note of it to follow up with you. Thanks.
that's,
And I would love to do something, whether that's at that's at our conference, our annual conference, or separate from our conference.
mhm.
Karen, one more thing on the social media side for IMC is LinkedIn. So,
Yeah.
you know, whether you or IMC wants to get super involved in LinkedIn doesn't matter to me, but if you at least set up the business page for IIMC, when people create their profiles of, you know, I serve on this committee or I serve on that committee, it'll show the logo of IIMC. And for a lot of people, that's important because otherwise it just looks like it's a blank organization that maybe looks kind of not real. So
Okay.
I really suggest that you guys create at least that initial page. I just did that for CCAC so that our volunteers can also link to it.
Okay.
That's a great
Okay.
idea, Anthony. Thank you.
Will you share, Anthony, will you share the link to your LinkedIn page so I have a look? And my dog is snoring. I'm really sorry about that. I would love to see your professional setup so that we can see how we can make
Mhm.
ours nice. And LinkedIn is a platform I really like, that personally like, because that's how I found IIMC. That's where I was invited to interview for this job. So LinkedIn
Good,
means a lot to me.
good. Thanks for sharing that, Anthony. I see we have Courtney on there.
Yeah, you know, that I did receive a note that Courtney, early through registration, that, not to put you on the spot, sorry to put you on the spot, but that you're learning more, that you are new to City Hall. And that's exciting.
That is correct. So Deanna Schaefer, she's been here for like 17 years, I think, was recently hired as our city manager. So pending her contract approval, she has a new title and new responsibilities. So it's her intention to keep me on board and train me up in all fun things. So.
Courtney, this is Angie from Banks. Congratulations, and congratulations to Deanna. I'm kind of in the same position you're in. When I took over as city recorder 7 years ago, our city recorder was promoted to city manager. So I will tell you, you're very, very lucky to have a city manager that's been in the role that you're going to be filling, because it makes the transition so much easier, so much easier. And feel free to reach out to any of us. Any of us at OAMR are always willing to pitch in and help however we can.
Thank you.
And Courtney, where are you from?
So I am in Reedsport, Oregon.
Okay.
But I am from the central Willamette Valley, the Corvallis area. So.
Well,
Yeah.
welcome.
Welcome. And I'm glad we have a couple of Oregon
Yes.
clerks on, members on.
I'd also like to thank you, Mary, for attending the OAMR virtual conference.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
Our education committee did a great job, and the conference
did.
committee getting that all pulled together. We were so nervous going into the unknown of what it would look like, but it went really, really well with our ALD and our academy sessions. So
Yeah, it was great. They did a wonderful job. So thank you for the invitation and allow me to
would have been more
participate.
ideal to have you here in person, but
I know. That's
what I saw Anthony's note that California's was canceled for April. I was like, no, I was going to Palm
I know. No, Anthony, you got to reconsider.
Call my governor.
Yeah. I heard no in-person, a no in-person edict, I guess, for California all the way through June. Is that right?
Yeah, so yesterday was our board meeting, and our membership committee recommended that we don't hold any in-person sessions through June. We just did it, like I said, we did our membership survey, and over 50% of our members are over 50. And according to the CDC, you've got, I think it's 3 or 4 times more chance of contracting COVID and 30 times more chance of dying from COVID when you're in that age bracket. So we wanted to make sure that people didn't have to decide between their health and education.
Right, right.
I am going to have to bow out now. I've got a meeting tonight and a lot to do, but I'm so glad I had this opportunity to join you guys. Nice to see everybody.
Thank
Nice
you,
seeing
Chris.
Chris. Thanks for joining.
You bet.
I'm
If
gonna
I can
have to
figure out
bow
how to
out.
get out of here. There we go.
Red button.
Bye.
I'm gonna have to bow out too. I'm supposed to be somewhere at 4, so.
All right. Thanks, Ruth Ann. Good seeing you.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take
Ruth Ann.
care.
And don't be surprised if you get a LinkedIn. If I want to hook up with you, connect with you on LinkedIn, because I love LinkedIn. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Mary, on that topic of virtual education, we did send a letter to our regional directors. I'm asking if you guys could extend the ALDs to June as well.
Yeah.
If you
Yes,
approve it.
I received that. I think it was yesterday. So we'll take it to the mid-year board meeting next month and present it to the board. So thank you for that.
Yeah, because I assume if there's no hosting of in-person meetings, there's no attending in-person meetings either.
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And,
were so disappointed in canceling the annual conference. We didn't get last year's either. In California, we got shut down around March 15th, and then we missed our conference just a couple weeks later.
Yeah. Ohio we haven't done anything. We were supposed to have our annual conference in July. And of course they canceled it, and they didn't take the step to take it to virtual. So I don't, our Ohio clerks, I know, well, like Ruth Ann has been attending a lot of the virtuals, and which is good, that's an option that they can do, but it would be nice to have some of our state-related, Ohio-related topics that clerks could, keep up with. So I don't know what's going to happen, but
Yeah, and in California, for me and Patrice, it's been that year of commiserating over the year that we never got.
mhm.
We ran for president, and beyond all the normal stuff that we would do, but getting to go to Oregon and Washington and IIMC, and for both of us, pretty much our years were a wash.
Mary, you must
Yeah.
feel that way a little bit too, I'm sure. Yeah.
Angie too.
Yeah.
And Angie too.
Angie.
I know. I was like, in a couple of weeks, I should be heading to, oh, no, I'm not going to Alaska.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Alaska's is coming up.
Yeah.
And I've always heard such good things about the Alaska clerks.
Me too. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that anyone wants to chat about? Have any questions?
Just one question for me is, what's the prospect for the IMC conference? Does it look like it's going to go virtual?
Right now, we're moving forward as being in person. So.
And where's it at?
Grand Rapids. Yeah, Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're moving forward with it. Of course, we have time, but we'll see first of the year where we are, where we're at with the virus and all that going on. But right now, we're still planning on in-person Grand Rapids.
If you can do it, I'll be there.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Same.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Well, a positive signal is that we are actively in production of the preliminary program, which should be mailed out in the next couple weeks.
So watch for that.
Yeah.
And we did do a site visit to Grand Rapids back in September, and the convention center and the exhibit hall is huge. So if we need to do a little social distancing, we have the space to do it. So But we're still moving forward. Keep your fingers crossed and
Hoping the
everything
best.
else.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna do our best anyway to make it happen. So, other than that,
Yeah, I'm
And-
good.
and it's our 75th anniversary. We got to celebrate.
I know.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
That's
And
like,
by the
it's the
way,
this year's the 100th anniversary of our little city, Banks, and
oh,
we had
congratulations.
all kinds. Thanks. We had all kinds of stuff planned for the citizens for the whole year, and nada.
No, that's too bad. That's too
Yep.
bad. So might have to celebrate the 101 maybe or
Exactly. Right now, I'm just hoping they get back in school because we're doing all online virtual
Mm.
school. And my daughter is a high school senior this year. So
Oh
I'm
no.
hoping that she gets to go back to school and have a little bit of time at school and
Right.
a traditional
that's a big-
graduation.
Yeah, that's a big year. That's too bad.
Yep.
Yeah, that's too bad. I want to congratulate Angie and Anthony on being appointed, sworn in as presidents of their state association. So
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you.
congrats. Congrats, both of you. You'll both do an amazing job. So keep it up. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if nothing else. This was great. It was good seeing all of you. Courtney, we can't see you, but I'm glad you were able to attend, and be sure to reach out to your Oregon clerks because I know they're ready to help you.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
Courtney, I'll make sure that you're on our email list too.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well,
Thank you,
take
Mary.
care. Yeah, thank you guys for attending. Take care, and we will see you in May. Right?
Cross my fingers.
We're
Yes,
mark-
ma'am.
you said it, so now
I
it's
said it
happening.
right
The
here.
president said it.
Anthony
right.
and I need to go somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Even if it's Westerville, Ohio, I'm seeing
Come,
you.
Yeah.
come. I'd love to have you. So, all right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again. Yep.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
See you soon. Thank you, Karen.